Thank you. So it's always a good idea to start with some history, and we do have a good history of collaboration. As you can see, China had participated to a lot of the projects under the 7th Framework Program. We had 39 projects with Chinese participation. We had 48 participants and 35 distinct organizations, which is not a lot compared to the number of organizations we have in China. So obviously there's room for improvement. But China collaboration is quite well. I mean, it's the second collaboration partner which we have of international collaboration partners in the 7th Framework Program in the ICT area. And there are basically 3 areas in which collaboration has been going on. There has been the support actions, the international partnership building, where you can see we have had 7 participations. And then there is a big chunk of network. It seems that the collaboration between EU and China is really concentrated on the network area. We have network of the future, or future internet. We have the internet connected objects, which I suppose is another way of saying Internet of Things. And then we have the future internet research and experimentation, so testing of new equipment, new applications in real network environments. And then finally, Internet of Things. So that is where the collaboration has concentrated so far. On top of that, we have seen collaboration in the health area, in applications for personal health systems and accessibility for impaired people. So those are the 3 areas in which we have collaborated in the past. If we then look at where we are going in the future, then unfortunately with Horizon 2020 the collaboration is not taking a great leap forward. We have not been able to, during the 7th Framework Program, to establish areas in which there is scope for a deepened bilateral collaboration between China and the EU, so there's no coordinated calls crystallizing. The 2 only areas in which we are pinpointing the possibility for collaboration with China is in the future internet area, which is a follow-on to the network activities in FP7. We will be starting in Horizon 2020 a new public-private partnership on 5th generation of networks, and in that we encourage collaboration with 3rd countries, amongst which is China. Then there is an opening in the micro and nano electronic technology field, an area in which we have had no previous collaboration, but where we think there is scope for enhanced collaboration between the EU and Asia, and among the Asian countries, of course, China. And then finally, there is in the energy part of the work program an opening in the ICT part for China in the Green Digital Charter, which we will support and where China is a participant. So you can see there's no new, deeper collaboration coming out in the first 2 years of the work program for Horizon 2020, which is a bit disappointing given that we have had all these collaboration actions, but it seems that we have been very good at talking to each other, but we have not been able to actually establish concretely areas in which mutual collaboration is beneficial and should be pursued in a deeper collaboration form, for instance in the form of coordinated calls, which we have had, for instance, with Japan and Brazil. So that's where we are, which means that this new project choice, which will be starting, certainly have a mission, and that is to seek to identify, building on the analysis which has been made in the cooperation analysis, where there are niches, if there are possibilities for deeper collaboration in the future. And then I'll just give you a few words about Horizon. I mean, you know that we have the conference starting tomorrow, and that will be all about Horizon. So all I'll do here is I'll just give you a few highlights and identify for you where ICT is going in Horizon 2020. So as you know, Horizon 2020 is part of the EU 2020 strategy. The big issue which we have with Horizon is how research and innovation can help to reignite the economic growth in Europe and create jobs. So that is one of the main features in Horizon 2020. What is new in it is that we concentrate all the research and innovation programs into one program. There's more innovation, there is a focus on societal challenges instead of having an approach as we've been having in the first 7 framework programs, which is built on academic disciplines or financial market sectors. And then we are trying to simplify access. We have been doing this all through the framework programs. This time we are making it even simpler, believe it or not, to participate. There is one thing which is not on this slide, but which I think is important in the collaboration with China. That is that we are also changing the rules for financial support going into Horizon 2020. There will not be any financial support to the so-called BRIC countries from the European Union in Horizon 2020, so that means Brazil, Russia, India, China. Participants from these countries will no longer receive any funding from the EC. We have been trying to get in contact with the Chinese authorities to see whether the Chinese authorities will establish some way of funding for Chinese participants to projects on the horizon, but so far we have not been able to get a clear answer to that. We hope that during the summit this issue will be touched upon, and maybe China will reveal whether they will establish maybe a scheme like we had in Switzerland before they became associated, where Switzerland funded all participants who were successful in evaluated projects in the same way as the EU did. But as I said, it is uncertain whether there will be any direct financial support from the Chinese authorities, which means that if you want to collaborate with Chinese participants, you must be aware that they will have to cover their own funds in that participation in Horizon 2020. But Horizon 2020 is very simple. We have 3 priorities: excellent science, industrial leadership, societal challenges. You can see the biggest part of the funds go to the societal challenges, and the next one is the excellent science, and the third one is the industrial leadership. The total funding we're talking about is 70 billion euro over the 7 years from 14 to 20. This gives you a breakdown of which areas are covered under the different priorities. So you can see the societal challenges is health, food, it's transport, energy, it's climate, it is something called inclusive, reflective societies, and then it is secure societies. That's the societal challenges. Under the excellence part, there is support to the European Research Council, there is support to exchange of researchers in the molecular area. Then there is the future and emerging technologies, and there is research infrastructures. And finally, under the industrial leadership, we have support to the key enabling technologies, which is ICT, nanotechnology, materials, manufacturing, also processing, manufacturing, biotechnology, space. On top of that, there is support to access to finance and a specific action on SMEs. And if we look at where ICT is sitting, then you can see that since we are moving away from an approach which is built on academic disciplines or market sectors, then ICT is sitting basically everywhere. The main part of the ICT is in the industrial leadership, but there's also ICT elements in future and emerging technologies, in research infrastructures, and in most of the societal challenges. Actually, the only one where there's no specific ICT topics is in the second societal challenge on food. In all the other areas, we have ICT applications. The way we see the distribution between what kind of ICT research we have in the different parts is that in the industrial leadership, we have the generic ICT technology development, so development following an industrial roadmap. In the societal challenges, we will have the application-specific developments, and in the future and emerging technologies, we will have the blue sky technology related research. So this is where the new ideas can come. And here you can see in one slide what areas we are covering in the excellent science. You can see we have future and emerging technologies as the biggest part. We have the open part, which is, as I said, the blue sky research. We have something called FED Proactive, where we have two initiatives. We have one on global science systems, we have one on cognitive systems, and then we have the FED flagships, where we have two, one which is on new materials, graphene, and another one which is on brain and networks, how brain research can inform the development of new paradigms for computing. Then we have a new initiative on high-performance computing, which is also funded partly under FED and partly under the e-infrastructure. The idea there is to bring back to Europe high-performance computing, both hardware and software developments, plus grid and cloud. The grid and the cloud aspects is covered under the e-infrastructure. E-infrastructure will also continue to support the fundamental research networking in the form of GEM. And then we have support to digital science, which is support to open access, but also support to supercomputing paradigms for research requiring big data. So that is what ICT is covering in the excellent science part. In the societal challenges, as I said, ICT is sitting almost everywhere, and the most of the ICT research goes into health, which is on personal health systems, but also assistive technologies. In the climate area, we have support to waste and water management. In the energy, most of our support is on the smart cities. Then in the security area, of course, cybersecurity is where we concentrate our research. In transport, we are looking at smart transport systems, so the integration of the transport into the roads and the other multimodal transport systems. So application-specific research in the societal challenges. And finally, in the industrial leadership, which is where we have most of the money in Horizon 2020, we are covering 6 different areas with most of our money. Components and systems, which concentrates on cyber-physical systems and micro and nanotechnologies. Advanced computing, which is concentrating on low-power computing. And then we have a big chunk on future internet. And there, as said, the new thing which we will start is a public-private partnership on 5G networks. But on top of that, we will be supporting things like web entrepreneurs, like social awareness platforms, like future and emerging technology experimentation and testing, the so-called FIRE. And we will also give support to research into new network architectures. In the content technologies and information management area, we are concentrating on big data, analytics for big data, but also innovation and tech-up in big data. We have support to learning technologies, to cultural technologies, to content technologies in that area. Then we have robotics. In robotics, we are supporting a new public-private partnership. And again, the concentration there will be on service robots. There will be a concentration also on take-up and innovation actions. And then finally, the last bit is on key enabling technologies, where we concentrate on micro and nanoelectronics and photonics research. We have factories of the future, where we're looking at the ICT elements of the new processing and the distributed virtual factories. We have international collaboration actions. As I said, we have 2 coordinated calls, one with Japan and one with Brazil. Then we have some cross-cutting activities, and there Internet of Things is prominent as it cuts across both components and systems, and of course the network technologies. We have something for the humanistic and economic social researchers, the human-centric digital age. This is a topic where we look at how does the new network society influence the way we think and behave in the new environment. We have a topic on cybersecurity, which is about developing quantum cryptography, and then we have support to the national contact points. And then finally, we have, as I said, innovation is a very important part of the horizon. We have support to innovation. We give support to access to finance. And then we have one area which is open disruptive innovation, which is a bottom-up innovation scheme open to small and medium-sized enterprises, but unfortunately only from within the EU member states and the associated states. So this is where the bulk of the research is, and the bulk of the money goes into these 6 first areas which I mentioned. Tomorrow and the day after, you will have all the details of all the topics in the different work programs. There will be no less than 48 different networking sessions where we will go through in detail each of the topics which are open in the different areas of not just the industrial leadership part, but also in the societal challenges and in the future and emerging technologies areas and the research infrastructure areas where ICT elements are involved. The next step is that later today, I hope we will have an agreement on the work program, because we haven't had an agreement with the member states of the work program so far. Tomorrow and Thursday and Friday, as said, we will present the ICT elements in the conference. On the 10th of December, we expect to have the adoption of the work program by the Commission, and the first call for 2014 will be published on the 11th of December. We will be closing the first calls in spring 2014. The date for the first ICT call, which is of about 800 million or so, will be the 23rd of April 2014. And with this, I will finish, and thank you for your attention, and invite you to go to the conference and get all the details there.